Hello everyone, so welcome to another episode of this little podcast, live streaming conversations, all about health, wellness, anything that can potentially improve your life. I'm going to be joined today by another person in Canada. She, I believe, is a massage therapist, but also works with various plant medicines. So I don't know too much about what she does. I know very little, to be honest. So it's going to be all up to Paula to explain and share what she does. She should be joining in any moment now. Hello people. Hey, Anna, I don't know if you're still in here, but I remember those days years ago in Marbella when we met. Good to reconnect with you again back on Instagram. Is that maybe Layla in here as well? No, I can't see. But anyway, those who have tuned in, thanks for joining. And as I say, just waiting for Paula to join. She'll be here any second now, talking about massage and plant medicines. Oh, yeah, that's right, Anna. That's right. You still practicing there and teaching? Yeah, I remember you were teaching quite a few classes down there as well. Hey, I'm pretty sure that's Layla, right? Cochina Cosmica. Maybe. Hello. Oh, here we go. And we have Paula. Let me send you a request. Last time, either my phone or my Instagram was a little slow to set this multiple the live thing, but it works first time. So here we go. Working. Okay, so Paula, see if you can cancel your request to join, and I'll send you a request. If that makes a difference. So I did it. I'm inviting you again. Now let's see. Good. You got it.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Here we got there in the end. How are you doing?
Amazing. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm good.
Good. Thank you so much for meeting me at this time. I know it's such a interesting time difference.
Yeah, it did throw me off a little bit. Didn't realize. I mean, of course, Canada's huge, right? So there's bound to be multiple time zones. So I think there's like 5 or 6 different time zones in Canada, right?
Yeah. So thank you, for accommodating this time with me.
No problem. Yeah, thanks for coming, and yeah, thanks for being willing to share your work.
It's really exciting, and it comes at a time where there's a big launch and things are shifting, and it's a really well-timed visit.
Cool. All right, so I had a look through the links I could find on your Instagram, trying to because I was being nosy. Okay, so what? Because it was cool. I think you said massage and you said plant medicine, maybe something else in the comment, but there was a few words that I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then as I tried to dive a bit deeper so I could maybe formulate some sort of questions, I couldn't find too much. So I thought, I guess it's just going to be a bit of a mystery, and I guess I'll just kind of, yeah, give you the floor, and if you could maybe please explain what. Well, have you got a title for yourself or for your work?
Technically, no, we're not. There is no full regulation. There are legalities, there are ethics, there are those pieces
Mm.
similar to that of body work and massage therapy or any healthcare professional industry.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no regulation
Yeah,
around it right now,
yeah,
which
okay.
is
Okay.
what is giving me the opportunity to really play with the depth and the breadth of the science and the education that I've received and my lovely, beautiful clients who come to the studio.
Mm. Yeah.
So through piecing together education through my hands-on history, I would say, I came to a place of huge curiosity to me. Um, and that was, if plants are so great internally, which we know that they are,
Mm.
what can they do for the body? And so we know through herbalism and through, I've also done a lot of, my background is in skincare. I started years and years and years ago in the movie makeup industry.
All right. Okay. Cool.
And then I moved into kinesiology.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved into what I thought was going to become nursing. And on that nursing path, I ended up looking into massage therapy. So that kind of gives you just a little bit of history of
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
I'm coming from. And then as I added manual therapy, I added a bunch of different modalities. I added reflexology, iridology, Ayurvedic medicine. So I had already a background of the understanding of an inner energetic network, but then I also understand it from a nervous system perspective. Um, and so kind of utilizing that knowledge and combining all of these pieces of the puzzle have allowed me to come up with a signature service.
Mm.
And then through that signature service, I am using it under an educational research and study lens that incorporates um, mind, body, spirit, and internal medicine as well. Um, Now, I do not diagnose and I do not prescribe because that is not something within my particular scope. But where my unique talents would be utilized potentially in a hospital setting, I've gone into hospital and I've been doing work with patients in the local hospitals. But it can also be done in hospice, many different places where we can start to utilize some of these ideologies. And
Mm.
um, that's really the shift that I would like to see is giving people an option to work with their healthcare provider, but also having someone who is educated and guided in some of these other systems that are completely valid.
Yeah.
They're ancient, but they're valid and they're still here. We just don't look into them or rely on them as much as we could. And that
Mm.
largely comes down to, again, I was listening to your video with Moon over Pisces, and she was explaining like the legalities here in Canada are quite different than they are anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
However, I see this as being like it's universal medicine. It's it's just that we don't have the language of understanding what geopathic stress is and being removed from our place of birth. We don't have that lens in a medical realm, and we have no verbiage for it. Whereas it's something that I see regularly in my practice daily, because Calgary is a place of people that's quite transitory. We come in and out, and many people that I meet say, "Oh, I've never met a real Calgarian before," and I'm like, "I'm born and raised." So I have noticed for my personal health and well-being that I I know that this is a very difficult climate to live in. It's
Mm.
high altitude, it's very dry, it's very difficult when you've come from Toronto or Vancouver, where the sea, you're closer to sea level. In
Mm.
England, you're closer to sea level.
Yeah.
If you were to come here, I would almost, I, I don't know, I would venture to guess you would suffer from either one of two things, and it would be nosebleeds and migraine headaches, because it's just that intense of a climate. And
Yeah. Is
so,
that the low oxygen, like high CO2 levels, or? Mm.
yeah, well, definitely we're higher up, so like it's oxygen rich. There's a lot of people who come here
Oh,
to
it's low
train
CO2.
and to like to train their lungs for capacity for things like Ironman and
Yeah.
whatnot because of that. Yes, that density.
Yeah. 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 So you see, so a lot of your clients that you're working with have have moved to your region, and you're recognizing aspects within their physical body as well as their maybe emotional, mental body, which are related to the change in location where they live.
Truthfully, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it is something that, again, like the medical systems aren't really trained in seeing this. They're just like, we can give you the diagnosis, we can give you the thing to help for it. But that is also a piece of the puzzle for me, is that yes, what ultimately gets people in the door is that they're in pain.
Yeah.
And it was through that development with each one of those patients that really all of this came into being. I saw that there was a need for a different verbiage or a different share as far as people's like holistic well-being.
Mm-hmm. So how does it look when, yeah, when you have a client approach you, and yeah, let's stay with that. So they've relocated to the region you're in, and they have, yeah. So what is is there a common like sort of pain that they're coming to you with? Is there a common issue that you're having to treat or work with?
If I were to put it under one large umbrella, it would
Mm.
be that 99.9% of my clientele are suffering from some form of fascial restriction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I I feel like you know what that is because you are also working with that realm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but that fascial restriction really, it does so much in the body. It restricts the muscular movement, and then now we're getting trigger points that are forming. We're getting, patterning that's held like armor in the body because the fascia isn't being addressed. And, and yeah, and then I feel like once we've got that armor on,
Mm.
how easy is it for the body to be doing the movements, to be doing the yoga? That's another piece of the puzzle. Yoga is a huge thing here in Canada, but also, you know, all over the world. It's gotten quite
Mm.
popular. Um, but a lot of my clients will come to see me because they've attended a hot yoga and they've pushed themselves. They've increased all of that pitta energy inside themselves and then continue to like burn, burn, burn. And there's
Mm.
no rest, there's no digest, and it just really creates this huge torque in the system that now people then get these back pains and this and that, and then they're
Mm.
going, well, why am I in more discomfort doing the thing I love?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's where I can come in and at least kind of explain some few simple fixes to at least keep people doing the things they love.
Mm. Are you finding there are um, certain areas of the body where you're finding these fascial restrictions, or could they be all over the place, or are there some points where you're having regular clients coming in and it's this similar sort of areas?
Largely, our work plays a lot into how we're holding our body through our day, what those repetitive motion patterns are in the systems. Um, in those cases, it's your pretty typical shoulders, neck, upper back, because a lot of my clients are working at the desk or on a computer,
Mm.
and then they go from kind of like this extended position of the neck into the collapsed, like phone scrolling position. And so there's a lot of head and neck mobility pieces, which also feeds into the migraine headaches, the TMJ, dysfunction, um, those pieces.
Mm. Mm. So I've noticed that a fair bit too. I'm based in London at the moment, and I have a few clients who work sort of stationary kind of jobs. They're sat or they're driving, and then they do kind of. It's natural, isn't it? Just kind of fall into this sort of rounded forward position where you're like looking down, and you sort of just kind of rest, don't you? Your body just gives up after a while and just starts to slack a bit, and then obviously that's when these little restrictions begin to form. Do you? Well, I noticed in one of your Instagram posts about the restrictions in the fascia being more than just physical. Um, they're being um, I think I saw you tying in the restrictions in fascia, the mental and emotional sort of um, we say symptoms as well, maybe.
Yes, in a very, very light form, yes.
Mm.
Because what I see, I mean, as manual therapists, what you see, you are also seeing. And through understanding many different human forms, that there are some very specific patterning to the way that our bodies hold on to the tension when we're experiencing something. if you are able to experience peace and quiet and get yourself into a place of relaxing your shoulders, doing all of this for yourself, then we wouldn't need manual therapists at all.
No.
But I think that really we live in such a fast-paced world that oftentimes we don't really have as much time to connect here
Yeah.
as we would like to or want to, need to, etc.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so I find that through my understanding of the patterns and through walking with my clients and my patients on it, we find that there are some very specific male, masculine, feminine patterning there within the self. So it becomes very obvious that this human container has the capacity for both divine feminine thought and divine masculine thought. And we've all come from a place somewhere in history where our parents came together and created us.
Mm.
And that also is very reflective in Jungian psychology, which is also a really big piece of the puzzle of what I study on an individual basis. I see the individual as a complete and whole individual. But there is like nothing that we ever have to extract, we just have to support. And
Yeah.
so through that understanding and then doing the hands-on and working with the fascia, I began to realize and understand and associate those certain restrictions as being a piece of the full mental health picture.
Mm.
Because what we're carrying, it's with us. We're carrying it until all of a sudden somebody says, "Oh, you don't have to."
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes all of a sudden the brain goes, "Oh, that's right. I don't have to carry that."
Mm.
And I think that that's where the real power comes in the physical touch and the physical guidance.
Mm.
And that's why I believe that massage piece is so important. And
Yeah.
people quite often will downplay massage. I heard you and I can't remember his
Carol.
name.
Carol, I think it would have been.
Yeah,
Yeah. The massage.
and
Yeah.
and um, yeah, and I've lost my train of thought there. I'm not quite sure. I think it's
As
because I started thinking about him.
I think is people downplay the almost the necessity for touch, whether you're whether you're doing it yourself or whether you're seeing a body worker or a manual therapist. I think you're saying people underestimate it. They undervalue it.
Well, and there's not very many doctors who are
Mm.
willing to touch it either. There are a lot of people here, and I'm not sure what it's like in London, but doctors here in Canada are not telling you should go and have a massage.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not surprised. They probably just prescribe you some sort of medication. That's what I would expect anyway. I haven't seen a doctor in quite a long time. I'm not too sure what they're getting up to.
Well, and I think that this is why the studies that I'm working on, the shifts that I see in my patients, in my
Mm.
clients, in the community, it's undeniable to me that this is an integral piece of healthcare
Yeah.
However, when I am still just muddling through on how do we get this regulated in some way, I think it may take a little bit of time before it ends up getting as big as what I imagine it to be.
Okay. Okay. So if we rewind a little, so
Yeah.
I think we're sort of saying that the as you unwind the physical restriction, with the hands-on body work, as you are unwinding these physical fascial restrictions, you are your client, the person you're working with, is then in turn having sort of mental or emotional uh, realizations or almost sort of a remembrance of something they may be holding or maybe the reason why the fascia is restricted. Is that coming through as well?
Yes, for them. And then I would say for most of my clients, so like I was explaining, there's kind of like a way to dial in. Most of my clients will have had like a personal alchemy, which is their sun, moon, and their ascendant signs. It's like part of their medical history.
So
So
that's what
that's like
that's your
that's step
fundamental.
one.
You're starting with that.
That's
Yeah. Okay. All right.
step
Cool. Yeah.
one.
Take me through the
Then,
steps if you wouldn't mind.
then step two is then they would come in for a life massage. Now sometimes people are coming in just for the massage. I literally just give them the massage because that's what they want. But
Mm-hmm.
when they realize what I have to offer, then they build into their protocol what they want to take and what they want to leave.
Yeah.
However, then the life massage comes into play, and that is literally me utilizing old methods of allowing your subconscious to come to play.
Right. Okay.
So now I have a clearer picture of not just what you say you are, but
Mm.
also too, what are some of the defining factors in your energetic spectrum currently? And then we take a little bit of that information and a little bit of that understanding and we use it as intention to guide the session in the room. So
Yeah.
now I am literally only getting a green light from your higher self, your guides, your crew,
Okay. Okay.
and I am listening with everything that I have to what your cells are saying.
Okay. Okay. And you credit the life massage to being able to bring somebody into such a state that they essentially can express through their subconscious. I guess what is it? A state of openness where they can express, I guess, more from their true sort of essence. Yeah.
Yeah,
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 and that helps you get to the root of what may be troubling them.
yeah. And I really restrict myself on talking about like root cause because I had a mentor who was like, you can never tell somebody what their root cause of their pain is. And I was like, but what if you could? What if you
Mm-hmm.
could give enough insight for people to at least start the unwinding process?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
if you could at least begin to give some real, tangible, real life tools
Mm,
to people who are just in a lot of pain?
yeah. But you're helping them come to their own conclusion in regards to the root cause.
Oh, yeah, it literally is explained in a very clear way that I am not here to project anything
Mm,
onto anyone, that I am literally just a guide in expressing back to you what you've already told me.
Yeah, yeah. Makes sense.
So everybody gets to it, it's all based on personal choice. You could choose red or you could choose purple. But no matter what you choose, it's perfect for you because you chose it.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And so that's the piece of bit of disconnect right now that I find in the plant medicine world here in Canada because it is legal. We don't have the opportunity to smell our medicine. You can't smell before you buy. And
Oh,
so
okay.
you get a lot of people who are using products that are really not actually healthy for them. The high might feel nice. It might feel like real good, but there also are some like other pieces of the physical puzzle that I think we would be able to um, clear up right away if we allowed people to smell their medicine.
Yeah, yeah. So when you're talking about plant medicine, is it it's cannabis? That's what we're
Cannabis,
predominantly? Yeah,
cannabis is the legal plant medicine. It's been legalized, so there
yeah, yeah.
are very clear areas where it can be used, where it can be talked about, things like that. I myself, as far as the plant medicine piece, I've been teaching people how to make their own skincare and their own pain medicine, like topical pain medicine,
Mm.
for 8 years now, I think.
Okay, okay. From various plants, or are we still using cannabis for this as well?
From various plants with cannabis as the accelerator.
Right, right. Okay.
So my education that I took when I was down in Colorado, I learned with a cannabis nurse and a plant medicine doctor, and I learned a bunch of different medicines. But my main interest has always been, can you put it on your body? Um, and what does it do if you put it on your body?
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, but I also have had the opportunity to work with mushrooms as well. I have connections to people, I've past connections to people who were creating magic mushroom bath bombs.
Oh, okay. Well,
And yeah, it's interesting. It's not the same experience as what you would get with cannabinoids. And
mm,
there's a whole talk that I have on the receptors that the skin has uh, that is waiting and open, ready to receive these um, plant nutrients, essentially. But then what I find very intriguing is from a herbalism perspective, when you combine the power of that plant medicine with herbs, how much more powerful those, or how much more driven your systems are to accept and to um, put in
okay.
place that medicine.
Yeah, yeah. Is that because the endocannabinoid system of the body is literally huge? It runs through the whole thing. Is that why the combination of different herbs alongside the cannabis, is that what helps I guess inject it around the whole body? Is it because the cannabinoid system
Essentially,
takes over?
it
Yeah.
essentially then takes the information and is able to widely disperse it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That makes that. I mean, I can't fully understand the actual science behind it, but it makes sense just on the small amount that I know.
If you want
Yeah. So,
any of the science on it, I have a presentation that I've been doing for doctors and nurses here, and I am uploading it. So that will be
cool.
something
Yeah.
that on the new website.
Yeah. 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 All right. Cool. Hey, do you ever combine the plant medicine with the manual therapy or with the massage or the body work.
Yes.
Yeah. To an extent that the client is in a, let's say, almost an altered state, or is it just sort of a physical sensation, or is there like a mental altered state along with
There,
it?
there's no internal pieces at this time because I don't have a legal disclaimer saying,
Mhm.
whatever happens to you in this room is up to you.
Yeah.
If people choose to consume, people choose to consume. I'll tell you, it's a heck of a lot better for your system to smoke a joint or have a gummy. Now, Health Canada, don't listen to this, but it is better for your system to be doing something like that than to have a glass of wine or a beer before you come in for a massage.
Yeah, yeah,
I
sure.
guarantee you, after that wine or that beer, you're going to feel garbage after that massage.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas if you've had a little to have, like it,
Mm.
I am not telling you to. I am not telling you
Yeah,
to.
and
However, if anybody was to do anything, that would be the lesser of any contraindication in my eyes.
would the fascia potentially even respond better? Yeah.
It does.
All
It
right.
does.
Yeah. Okay.
It does.
Well, you can say that with certainty. Yeah. Cool.
I
Cool.
say it with certainty
Yeah. Yeah.
because I know.
Yeah.
Because I know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
I have studies and studies and studies that I am compiling, but ultimately, when it comes down to it, until you get your hands on, you don't understand what's really going on.
Mm.
Once you start getting your hands on, it's it's that piece of the puzzle that needs the clarification for science, for healthcare, for all of them to understand. And the difficulty is we are working with a plant medicine. Ultimately, we are working with the quantum,
The
the
quantum.
quantum realm,
Sorry, the quantum what?
the
Realm.
quantum realm.
Right. Okay. Okay. Which would, is there another word for that that I might be a bit more familiar with? Quantum realm, like the.
It's like the spaces in between. It's the forces, the synchronicities, it's all of those pieces, I believe, are up to that quantum realm. However, science is showing us that our fascia has the ability to hold that quantum information. So
Like
this is
memory,
where, oh, sorry.
like memory in the fascia. Yeah, yeah. Okay. And quantum meaning, quantum is like the whole, or what do we?
Quantum is like the scientific, oh my gosh.
So it's a
I,
word
I'm,
I've heard
I'm
so much
probably
that I've just
overthinking
never had
it,
it
but
explained. Yeah.
it's literally like that magical realm, if you would.
Okay.
Um, but it's literally full of information. It is full of, and when you have that opportunity to understand that we're reading this information,
Mm-hmm.
it is then our duty as medical professionals to share that information. It
Okay.
needed it needed a safe container because I work with a lot of trauma patients.
Right. Yeah.
And so having a safe container of being able to kind of pick through or unwind some of this like ball of experiences that we've had in our lives um, the life massage gives the base to be able to start to unwind some of those pieces.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you ever thought of the myofascial system, the meridians of the body, and the mycelium network of the fungus? Have you ever drawn the comparison between those two?
Yeah.
Yeah, the sort of the transfer of information or the holding of information, the knowledge within the whole system. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you would agree that the the fascia of the body essentially holds the same info that the same way the mycelium network of the fungi works. Yeah, you'd see
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that that's why grounding practices work so effectively.
Right.
You
Okay. Okay.
know, and I think as a massage therapist, I'm often seeing people's backs,
Mm-hmm.
but like the easiest, fastest way to feel support if you're starting to like feel
Mm-hmm.
like this is to lie on your back on the ground. Immediately, you just feel a sensation of support.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because physically you're supported by the ground, but also, too, the ground is giving you that same neural feedback of I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm connected.
I like to do my treatments on the ground and with the person on their back. It's just yeah, I find it suits me. I like being close to the ground at the same time as well. And I feel there's no like you say the ground is the ground. You can trust the ground. You're not on a table.
Yeah,
You're not a couple feet in the air. You're on this firm,
absolutely.
stable ground. Yeah.
And especially for anybody who has a lot of these like holding pieces in their systems, how much easier is it for you as a practitioner to allow them to give it to the ground?
Mm.
And then I think
Yeah.
you're also protecting yourself a little bit in that way, like as far as extending your ability to provide this modality because you're utilizing that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I see that. It makes sense. That's good. This is something that I say quite often as well, not just in the massage treatments, but in the meditation and the guided breath work is giving to the ground. That,
Mm.
recognizing the ground is beneath you, it is supporting you, and to give that weight, to give that tension to the ground, let it hold you. Yeah, I never thought about yeah instead of the therapist taking hold of it. I never clocked that, but that's a good one. It's a good one. I like that.
And then I always see, like, not just my patients, but like every human being on this planet as being a whole ecosystem to
Mm.
themselves.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And so when I also see things on the table, I am looking at things like this is your past, this is your present, and then this is your future. And so if your shoulders are curved forward and you're like muscling through, that's almost like kind of like an army man on his belly trying to like get under that barbed
Mm.
wire. How much easier is it for you to like face the world head on with courage when you have that kind of support coming through you?
Mm.
So that's what I like to imagine.
Yeah. No. No. Yeah. I get that. I get that. It's cool. It's cool. So yeah. I get a good understanding, I think, of how you're working and what you're doing with people. But I do hear, I feel like there are a few, I guess we could say, legal sort of restraints that might be inhibiting what you the full capacity of what you would like to do. Is that kind of true?
Yes, which is why I'm always writing letters to Health Canada. I work quite closely with my own natural health practitioners
Hmm.
board as well as the association, just so they have an understanding of what it is that I'm doing. They do not, I have come to them and said, can I put my course on your website? And they are like, no, not yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it kind of has it still really needs to be incorporated by the doctors and nurses and by literally by like a care facility.
Mm.
So instead of trying to totally change the system, I at least go into those places and share what I have learned and what I'm working with.
Yeah.
Um, so that they can have a better understanding. I think the biggest difficulty is there is such a disconnect between our allopathic systems and our traditional ways of knowing. And I really think that in my very fantastical mind, there's like a beautiful castle somewhere where people with mental health issues go and they get to sun themselves on the roof and have beautiful
Mm.
flowers around them. And there's no locking people up and shutting them away like animals, you know, like
Mm.
it's more about let's talk about this in community. Let's get this. It's a circle, not a triangle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. And you're actively, you know, in Canada, you're actively at the forefront of this, I guess. Right? Yeah, yeah,
I
cool, cool, cool.
I yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You're
There
creating it. You're paving the way. Yeah.
yeah. And I see that it is so valid and it's so important. There's a lot of people who want to see it recognized. There's people who have been doing this for eons, even before I decided to say anything about it. But
Yeah.
I just see um, what an incredible impact it can be on people's lives when they're seen for who they are.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
And then being able to actually work through and shift some of the things that might be holding them down
yeah,
or back or sideways or
yeah, yeah. Yeah, cool, cool. Well, I believe you may have a client joining you soon, so
I will.
it might be worth wrapping up. Would you like to yeah, have you got anything to finish on? Would you like to say what's coming soon from you? You say you got a new website coming up.
Yes. So, well, a major piece of the puzzle as to why you could not find anything about me is
Yeah.
that in the fall, I had a very devastating, like Google and everything technological break. My website went down, my email stopped working. I had, like, everything was just completely disconnected of no fault of anyone's. It just happened. But rather than being completely, absolutely on the floor about it all, I just thought this is just a new opportunity to really get out the education and the information that I have that I'd like to share. And so that then prompted this new launch of the website. So the website is now up and running. If you were to put in lifemassage.ca, it would come up. It is now separated out into two pieces. Plant medicine, where people can come and learn about plant medicines with me. They can learn about mushrooms. Even though it's not legal, I am not giving it to you, so that keeps me out of the legal loop. But if you want to know more about things that will support you, you can come to see me at the studio, and you can book online through the website. There also are continuing workshops on topicals, which I continually teach to people who are suffering from literally any type of pain. I've worked with cancer patients. I've worked with women who are experiencing menstrual disorders. And I've also worked with people, like I said, with migraines and fascial type pain as well. I teach those workshops, and a really lovely kind of secret launch here. I will be starting out my own YouTube video where I will be creating the medicines for my clients, and I will explain step by step why I've chosen which herb, etc., etc. And then I'm also going to be launching both of my information sessions that I had been presenting to the healthcare professionals. One is terpenes and wellness, and then the other one is the endocannabinoid system and manual therapy. So they'll all be coming out slowly through the rest of the year. This conversation with you, I'm so grateful, Sam, because it comes at almost like it's just such great timing. So thank you.
Nice, nice. Oh, thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing so much, and thanks for your work you're doing. Sounds great.
I hope to share it with England soon. My mother-in-law lives in like close to Basingstoke, so I hope that maybe once I can gain some footing here in Canada, maybe I can actually bring that information to England.
Yeah.
That would be my absolute dream.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And also, if you ever have any products that may be possible to ship over, then you can let me know. I may be interested in trying some of these topical products that you're making.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything that you have any questions on, feel free to DM. I will get back to you as soon as I can. And, but yeah, we'll work together to make something.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. I'll let you get on. I'll let you go on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sam. Take care.
All right. You take care. Bye. Hey, cheers, Nikki. And together we rise. It's a nice username. But yeah, there we go. There we have it. That is the fourth. Yeah, it's the fourth little chat I've had with another wonderful wellness practitioner. I think I could use that title. In the little podcast series I've been calling the Vital Vortex, as I think these conversations are extremely vital. They're needed. Yeah, they're needed right now. We've got to get this work out there. We've got to discuss all these different modalities, different ways that we can help ourselves and help each other to better ourselves and better the reality around us. So thanks for watching. And I have another interesting one lined up, I believe, on the 2nd of Sunday. Sunday, the 2nd of March, I'm pretty sure is the next one. And maybe one in between. But there'll be something cool coming. So keep an eye on my Instagram. Hopefully catch you at the next one. Take care, everyone. See you next time.